So now recently Kamala Harris has been talking a pretty good game on progressive priorities, things like Medicare for all, and free college and things like that. However, what she's not so good on is the issue of corporate money in politics. In fact, during a recent town hall, she inadvertently showed us why we're not able to trust her on anything she says about those issues. Let's take a look.
I'm going to ask you something extremely specific, okay, because I'm hoping for a very specific answer.
Okay.
Okay, it has to do with the first question about money in politics, but it's directed at you personally, and my question is this. If a corporation or a corporate lobbyist wants to give you money for a campaign, will you tell them thanks but no thanks?
Well, it depends. It depends. I mean,
Wrong answer.
Wrong answer. I love that. Now, look, understand what she says. If a lobbyist offers me money, there is a possibility that I will take it. I will take it and I will put it in my pocket and I will say thank you. Well, but wait a minute. That's corruption. That's the problem with the system, is that you have too many people taking money from too many interests. Now, look, are there companies or lobbyists that lobby for good things, for positive things? Sure, but there's not enough of them. And there's especially no lobbyists for poor people, no lobbyists for, hey, a living wage. So maybe I would argue that there are no lobbyists that lobby for good things. But see, here the problem is that I have with this is our campaign finance system, right? If you take lobbyist or corporate money, you get influenced by that money. And for example, for Kamala Harris, and this is something that's been following her around forever, she took money from Stephen Mnuchin's One West and then let him go. Didn't go after One West for screwing people out of their mortgages. So, look, man, that's what's going on here. That is a clear example of being influenced. Now, of course, Kamala Harris and some of her defenders are like, no, that's not what happened at all. She took money. She helped him out. I think that's a pretty clear case. But that's what we don't like. See, don't get me wrong, right? Let me give you an example. I am a big union supporter, right? So unions also, in addition to corporations and lobbyists, give money to politicians, right? Now, again, I'm a big union supporter, but sometimes unions are wrong. So if a union gives money to certain politicians, for example, on Keystone XL, right? We've seen that before. That politician might be in favor of Keystone XL because guess what? That union gives a lot of money and has a big pull in that area. So something that is environmentally disastrous for the area and something that a lot of people might not want will happen anyway because, well, hey, the union, they feel strongly about this, and they, more importantly, they gave money to my political campaign. What am I supposed to do? Not take the money? Again, going back to that Barney Frank quote, like, what do you want? The banks to not give us money? Do you want only 70% of that money going to Republicans? No, I would like no money to go to Republicans and no money to go to Democrats. Again, I don't think corporate money should be in politics. I don't think union money should be in politics. I don't think any money other than public money should be in politics. And here's the reason why. Money gets you access. If you have private financing elections, which is what we have right now, the people that have the most money to give often get the most access. They often get heard more. And then, of course, ends up being corporations. What do corporations want? Lower taxes, less regulation. And, for example, Medicare for all. What do the companies want? They don't want Medicare for all. They don't want single payer. They don't want a public option. What they want is private for-profit health insurance because that's what their business model is based on. That's where they get their revenue. That is where their bottom line comes from. So, look, the reason that we don't want politicians to take corporate money is that we want to have access to our politicians, right? But if you have all these big money interests, well, they're the only ones that end up getting listened to because they have most of the money. Now, of course, in the next video, she is going to defend her position on this. And look, to be honest, it's incredibly tone deaf. Take a look.
Well, that's not the answer you want to hear. It doesn't make it wrong. So.
That was a bye Felicia there.
But thank you for asking, and I appreciate the reason that you're asking it. I do appreciate that, because and that's why we have rules that require that any donation that anyone receives needs to be disclosed, so that you can do an assessment, and the voters can do an assessment, and look at where the contributions come from, and make your decisions about whether those contributions have influenced the way that people act and the way that people vote. And so I'm an open book there. Feel free to look at it and then draw your own conclusions about what has motivated me and what hasn't.
Okay. So I can't get over the cheering for that. Like, you're basically cheering for somebody saying, hey, no, I will take corporate money. I will take PAC money. I will take lobbyist money. No, that's not what you want to do. Because guess what? These people that are clapping, they're like, you don't realize that these corporations don't care about you. They don't care about your interests. And the politicians, as much as they might say that, as much as they might actually want to care, they're unable to. Because they don't get money from regular people. They don't get enough money compared to the money that the corporations and the lobbyists can give them. But look, what she's saying there is, yeah, look, disclosure, right? That's the thing that's going to solve this. That's, of course, the corporate Democrat line to money in politics. Well, if we just had disclosure, that should be fine. I mean, that's all that does is just show who bought which politician. That doesn't actually solve the problem. Like, I don't really care to know that ExxonMobil has bought you. Especially if there's no other choice between both candidates that were also bought by ExxonMobil. I don't want to have that decision. I don't want to have that choice because that's a Hobson's choice. That is no choice at all. Corporate candidate A or corporate candidate B. I'm not interested in doing that. I'm interested in democracy. I'm interested in people actually having a choice between the corporate bought candidate or the actual candidate that doesn't take corporate or PAC money or lobbyist money and actually might represent me and my interests because we're the ones who are funding you. That's the problem here, right? And now look, there's some Democrats that are actually finally getting it in response to this. There's Cory Booker that decided not to take corporate or PAC money, and Kirsten Gillibrand also saying, we're not going to take corporate or PAC money. But unfortunately, Harris, again, she has signaled that she is open for business. And now, in fact, she has decided that she is also going to go after Hillary Clinton's big donors. No. Sorry, Kamala, but you cannot serve two masters. You have to say no to corporate PAC money. Look, the solution here is to get money out of politics. By playing the game and saying you're going to maybe accept money, and it depends on what you accept money from. You're saying that you're okay with the system of politicians being bought by big money special interests. That is not something that you want to admit in this era. Progressives especially, we're not okay with that. And besides, on the issue of trust, and this will not endear you to basically anybody who pays attention to this. And that guy's question, that was an amazing question, and I think you should get a lot of credit for asking. But look, for those of you who are skeptical, okay, well, say you're one of those Democrats who's like, oh, okay, well, I guess single payer would be fine, but I'm okay with Kamala Harris taking money from special interests. Well, what if one of those special interests is health insurance companies? and then she decides to change her position. Well, that's what money in politics does. Again, through the One West Mnuchin thing, she's shown that, look, when it comes to campaign financing, I mean, I might change my position if the money's enough, because I got to raise money. These races are really, really expensive. So what am I going to do? Right? Well, like, if I get this money, I'm going to have to start representing these donors, or else I'm not going to get donations again, and I'm not going to win. And so, unfortunately, that's the problem that we have when we have private financing of elections. We can't allow the donors to control our politicians through campaign finance spending. We've got to get rid of it. We've got to stop this. So we've got to end the money, end the corruption, get the money out of politics, so then we can actually trust our politicians to represent us. The politicians that keep taking corporate and PAC money, we can't trust you, because we don't know, once you start taking that money, when or if you're gonna switch your position. And I can't vote for somebody who I'm uncertain of. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.